I want you to change the world, and don't think that this is going to happen peacefully or you can do it alone. We need to kill the rich. You get out there, you use your weapons, and you rip Washington apart. You hunt down the billionaires, the bank bosses, the CEOs, the scumbags, and the liars, the governors, the lobbyists, the senators, because they're all the same, and you hang them.
Good after or evening now, I guess. It is April 5th, 2020. I'm Eric. How's everyone doing this evening? I'm not used to doing in the evening, but got some things to get into, and first I'm going to talk to you about my shopping experience today. So, we went and picked up about $400, close to it, worth of groceries. Once again, this would be the third time in 1 month that I've done this. And each time, the mood has gotten more and more ominous. It feels completely different out there. And I do believe that things are going to rapidly deteriorate. And I have my reasons, and I'm sure most of you already know what these reasons are. So, the last time I went, there was a meat shortage, and there was nothing there, no matter where I went. This time, I was able to get a considerable amount of meat. I go to Aldi and went to Big Lots today. Big Lots here, they have, or did anyway, had really good dried soups and sealed, crumbled beef packets. So we're hoping to go there and pick up some of that stuff, but they didn't have it. So we went to these two places, and they were very, just the whole mood of everyone. They seemed really afraid. And I see fear written on people all over the place. Are you fearful? Are you afraid? Have you started to worry about the near future? I mean, really worry about it. I haven't started to worry too much. I'm one of them people that I get really annoyed by little shit, but when big shit hits me, it just rolls right off me. It's a good thing. And this would be one of those types of big things that will continue to roll off me, because honestly, I've lived a very, very harsh life. And so I am acclimated to hard times already. So it's nothing for me. But my children are a completely different topic here. My children have been safeguarded, like most other parents out there. They've been safeguarded from the evils of life, should I say. But unfortunately, the time is drawing near that this will no longer be possible. And my daughter's childhood really isn't going to be a childhood much longer. Have you thought about that if you have children? The horrors they're going to have to face? I sure have. But there's a article over here at All News Pipeline. Keep your eyes to the skies. Historically, comets have been seen as harbingers of disaster, linked to pandemics and death on a mass scale, and now one approaches Earth. And this comet has an atmosphere 5 times the size of Jupiter, which is incredible. But we're going to hit just a small portion of this, so because I think it's pretty cool, and it may have a major impact on our lives here in short order. So they say, for much of history, comets have been associated with death and disease. And there is increasing evidence that some life on Earth originated in comets and other stellar debris. If passing comets have continued to deposit viruses and microorganisms on this planet, this may explain why ancient astronomers and civilizations attributed the periodic outbreak of plague to these stellar objects. Moreover, the subsequent evolution and extinction of life may have been directly impacted by the continued arrival of bacteria, archaea, viruses, and their genes from space. On this picture, the evolution of higher plants and animals would be impacted by the insertion of genes from space, as well as recurrent episodes of pandemic diseases. Near-culling pandemics and extinction episodes have in fact been preceded by or followed by insertions of viral genes into survivors who have transmitted these viral elements to their progeny, thereby impacting future evolution. So, they've had a major impact on our lives. And no one's suggesting that this particular virus we are now experiencing is a result of a comet, and I think that that's already been decided where it came from. And it wasn't a comet, but still interesting nonetheless that comets have had such a large impact on our species, well, from the start. So there's that. Alright. Bureaucrat, stay at home and starve. Yep. I told you, that's what they really want the people to do. They want you to stay at home and starve. A matter of fact, Vermont. Vermont has blocked the seed section in, the so-called essential stores, deeming seeds not essential. I wonder why they don't want people buying seeds. Isn't that weird? I think it is. Very weird. Dr. Deborah Birx, and we all know this creature, this swamp creature, this government bureaucrat by now. If you don't know who she is, just in case, she is the White House Coronavirus Response Coordinator. And she said on Saturday that all plebs must stay out of grocery stores. She didn't give you an alternative to that. She just said, you must stay out of the grocery stores. Wonder what's up with that. Wonder why she doesn't want you to be able to eat. Again, she didn't offer any alternative, but she again repeated, giving anyone who listened to her, including myself, nauseum as a result, the hand washing and 6-foot social distancing bullshit. In quotes here. And after this, we will be done with this one. In quotes, this is the moment, or this is the moment to not be going to the grocery store, not going to the pharmacy, but doing everything you can to keep your family and your friends safe. And that means everybody doing the 6-foot or feet social distancing, washing their hands, said this lifelong, worthless bureaucrat. And they go on to say that they're reminded of President George H.W. Bush confronting a grocery store scanner on display at the National Grocers Association convention in D.C. in 1992. And he thought it was the most remarkable device he had ever seen. But we don't see it that way, do we? And they go on to say that Dr. Birx probably doesn't do her own shopping and has servants to do this instead. And she does, I'm sure. And like Bush, she is seriously out of touch. Now, how many Americans will be frightened out of their wits by the necessity to buy food and feed their families? And does she believe that all Americans have the ability and the money to employ others to buy food and deliver it? That is, if the delivery services have not gone on strike for fear of the virus. Yep. And her insane suggestion, and this is why we should not have a state or government officials or any of this stuff. Brick's insane suggestion, with the full weight of the state behind it, is naturally ignored by millions of Americans that have no choice but to go to the grocery store and pharmacies. So, we have these people, these bureaucrats, telling us what we may and may not do to a degree that you might as well have a fucking tracking device in your ass and a microphone in your throat and a camera inserted into your eye. So, their control freakism, this nanny state shit, is really just getting started, and man, I'm sure a lot of us are going to begin to get annoyed by this. I already am. The nanny state shit. Oh, safety. Safety. Please. Safety is boring. Alright, last one here. Looting strikes, or looting wave strikes New York City amid coronavirus lockdown. Who knew that was going to happen? I mean, wouldn't it have been easier for everybody if they had just broke out the fucking masks in the first place? Wouldn't it? I think it would have probably been a lot easier. It probably wouldn't have caused the massive economic damage that it did, but maybe that's the point. And is going to continue to do for probably generations to come. If there is generations. Anyway. My son has a big mouth. Damn it. So they say we've been laying out the possible case for the next phase of COVID-19 pandemic could be social unrest, and of course it is going to be. Millions of Americans have just lost their jobs, have no savings, and, as I said yesterday, their debt is overwhelming. They're flooding food banks across the nation to survive. Now, how long do you think that's going to last? How long do you think people are going to be willing to live in, or wait in these fucking lines that takes you several hours to get through? Oh, I got a video clip to share with you. I know it's random as fuck, but check this out.
Alexa, did the government release the coronavirus?
According to Event 201, the government planned this event, created the virus, and had a simulation of how the countries would react. This simulation occurred October 18th, 2019. The government released the virus among the population and has lost control of the outbreak.
Alexa, did the government release the coronavirus?
According to Event 201, the government planned this event, created the virus, and had a simulation of how the countries would react. This simulation occurred October 18th, 2019. The government released the virus among the population and has lost control of the outbreak.
This clip came from a live stream by Edge of Wonder I was watching. So, alright, so millions of Americans have just lost their jobs as they are filing for unemployment, which is a aggravating, frustrating process. It really is. I'm sure some of you out there have experienced this at least once in their life. And let me tell you, it sucked when I had to do it, and I'm sure it sucks a lot more now. But they're going to food banks, flooding them just to survive. With the economy crashed and now entering a depression, last week was a significant milestone in the progression of the crisis as looting of businesses in California and South Carolina began. And we're not even on lockdown here. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are places that's been closed down, but there is no shelter-in-place order here. We are one of the last states to not do this. And I have to be honest with you. I am glad that I live in South Carolina right now, anyway. I mean, the driving is atrocious here. And a lot of the people are really, really stupid. But I'm glad I live in South Carolina right now. So, and I live in a town. It's got a couple thousand people, and the thing is, it's a heavy drug use area. That part of it, anyway. And I intentionally moved to a small town like that. And that's simply because the competition that I'd have to go against would be severely weakened as a result of withdrawal and these kinds of things. And, well, take advantage where you can, right? So, anyway, now the looting is spreading across the nation. We noted how stores in New York, San Francisco, Seattle, and Chicago had boarded up their windows and prepared for civil unrest. After all, when 10 million people lose their jobs in 2 weeks and an estimated unemployment rate that could reach 15-20% in the second quarter, the ripple effects on society is so sudden that there could very well be an outbreak of unrest when the weather gets warmer. And geographically be shifted in the low-income areas of inner cities, hence why the National Guard was called up and now is being positioned around or in major cities. And we're just at the beginning of all this. So, the New York Police Department recorded a 75% jump in burglaries of businesses during the period, or about 254 burglaries compared to 145 over the same period last year. Yeah, this is the beginning of social unrest in New York City. Households are cracking as hundreds of thousands have lost their jobs over several weeks. The city has become the epicenter with 2,935 deaths, or perceived anyway. At least perceived deaths. We don't know what the actual number is. Some people out there think the number is much higher. And a lot of the deaths going on can be attributed to COVID-19, but they were not tested, so they're not counted as COVID-19 deaths. So, there's that. The increase in burglary coincided with steps to stop the spread of the coronavirus. On March 15th, the city ordered restaurants and bars to cease on-site service, prompting many establishments to close altogether or limit operations. A March 20th decree by Andrew Cuomo, or Homo, or whatever, called for the closure of all non-essential businesses, leading many retail stores to shutter. And by the way, a good chunk of their police department is now in quarantine or sick. Isn't that interesting? Remember, strong cities. Remember that. Yeah. On Friday, one out of every 6 NYPD officers was sick or in quarantine. Over 1,500 have tested positive, which could lead to decreased patrols while crime is surging across the city. And in quotes, it's a worst-case scenario across the board, a sergeant told the Times, or New York Times. So, well, there you go. There you go. Then some other police atrocities have happened since the last time I've talked about it. Which should be no surprise. I mean, and this stuff happens all the time, and it will be much worse during this crisis until they all get sick and can no longer function. As media focuses on COVID-19, study finds fire did not cause... why was there a study on this anyway? I mean, for crying out loud, it's a matter of fucking common sense that a fire did not burn a steel skyscraper down. That's just absurd. Officers gouge teen's eyes, break his fingers in sadistic act of retaliation. If you file a complaint against these guys or anything like that, they'll come after you. They'll charge you with something. They'll make shit up on you, even if you're totally telling the truth. I talked about that one. Where's it at? Huh. Well, I must be mistaken. I could have sworn there was something else. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Cop kills unarmed teen after mistaking fellow cop's gunfire as the teen's. Isn't that nice? But, these people, they're gonna assert their so-called authority in ways that you will not believe in the weeks and months ahead. These people are evil. If you look at some of Trump's press conferences, you'll see that this dude is straight up surrounded by nothing but swamp creatures. The Dr. Deborah Brooks, or whatever damn name is, the Anthony Fauci. He may seem like a nice guy on TV there, but if you do some digging on them, you're going to find out that this is not the case. Okay? And the same goes for any of them. If you do any kind of digging on any one of these individuals, you're going to find a lot of bad shit. But obey them for the safety and well-being of your friends and family. When the establishment, their lollygagging has already put millions, thousands of people in their coffins. It may turn into millions. And let's not forget the hundreds of millions of people government killed in the 20th century. Do you think this is going to have a good outcome, any of it? Do you think that there's going to be any coming back from this? We will be lucky to have a fucking internet by the time this runs its course. And by the way, Donald Trump is doing everything he can to make your fucking gas prices higher. And he believes that the American people want higher gas prices. Can you believe this shit? Corporate bailouts, the energy sector bailouts. Everyone got bailed out except for the people who are expected to sit at home with their sickness and fucking starve to death. So you tell me, shouldn't we kill the state so we can once more, or for the first time in history, be free? Let me know.